Does the Inferno Tower set to single target mode still hold a viable place in Clash of Clans right now, or is it just a thing of the past? Let's talk about that defense today. What's going on, guys? My name is Joe, and today we're going to be taking a look at some Town Hall 12 hits that have single target mode Inferno Towers. And a lot of times the single target mode really just screams the new meta stuff, the new meta gameplay, which is like your P.E.K.K.A. bow bat attacks and your balloon attacks and the bat slap. That's another one. Clash of Clans is always changing, guys. The bases have changed so much over the years. Some of you that might be viewing might be looking at it from the perspective of the anti-2-star base design, where you have the Inferno Towers tight in the base. That's not necessarily a good thing either. And then you look at bases like this, where you have the anti-3 base, where the Town Hall is really close to the outer edge, and then you will notice that the rest of the base is really funky and not really symmetrical. It's really designed to shut down wall breakers and stop the hogs, and just it's really just to throw you off and confuse you really bad. The thing about this base that really is bad is that you have all 4 air defenses on one side of the base, and then you'll notice on the other side you got all the wizard towers. But that's not what I want to point out here. We got Expos. They're all set to ground mode. This is horrible. They're just absolutely bad. And then also all 3 of the Inferno Towers are set to single target. Now, the single target Inferno Tower is great versus the P.E.K.K.A.s, and it's great for shutting down the golems, but we're not seeing a lot of golem attacks anymore, at least in the high competitive gameplay. And then, you know, obviously the heroes don't really stand a chance against them, but when you add numbers, when you add witches or a lot of hog riders or a lot of bats, you can't stop them. The defense is rendered completely useless. So we got an army here that's very interesting. This is Burning Dragon over here in Elite Academy, and we got 16 balloons and 20 baby dragons. 20 baby dragons. This is just completely ridiculous. Now that area over there on the western side where the air defenses were located, check it out. Let's see what he does over here, because it's really very impressive. You got 1 wizard tower, and you have bat spells. So we're going to completely destroy this whole side of the base with a bat bomb, starting out with a freeze spell or the bat spells and then the freeze spell, and just allowing those bats to work under a rage spell. And those bats are going to disintegrate this entire side of the base by taking out all the air defenses -1, and then they're going to destroy the Eagle Artillery. The Eagle Artillery is a major defense that, you know, if you render that completely useless and get rid of it, you've basically started hitting a Town Hall 10 now, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You got the king over there on the western side. He's taking out a few buildings. You got a balloon over there. You got some troll Teslas in the corner. Now, this base was probably hit before to identify those points, but it doesn't matter. Once you get hit, you know, once you get hit one time, you're pretty much opening up for the next attacker to come in and get a really good attack on you. So those hidden Teslas are no longer with us. The queen has been dropped over there to take on the Town Hall. So, you know, obviously being safe, taking down the Town Hall with the queen, and ensuring that the 2-star is at least grabbed just in case something goes wrong. Now, also you will notice that since the queen's ability has been used, she's going to take down that final air defense that was left behind by the bats, so that kind of really just frees it up. Now, obviously, the single target Inferno Tower looks like it's doing great. It did great. It took care of the queen, but the queen was no longer needed. The queen's job was complete, and now it's just going to be balloons and baby dragons. And there's also a stone slammer in this composition. You have a grand warden that's going to go with those balloons, and so the balloons and the stone slammer is going to move through and start taking out defenses. You got a few baby dragons back behind them, and they're going to work their way into one of the single target Inferno Towers, and they're going to take that down. The Grand Warden's ability has not been used yet. You're going to see baby dragons sprinkled in here and there. I'm not going to really point them out as much. They're just going to kind of come in, take out a few things, and then they're going to be dropped here and there. Now, in the core, the queen was there, and inside that stone slammer was an electro dragon. So you had a little bit of an electron situation going on there. It wasn't a clone electron, but the electro dragon comes out, takes down the enemy queen under a rage spell, and the rest of the base is just going to fall apart. And now down here in the south side, you got 1 single target Inferno Tower. So you're really kind of hoping for the best at this point, but the single target just can't keep up with the numbers. And so that's what we have going on here. We have a bunch of baby dragons. Heck, he's still got 4 in his composition right now. And so we're surrounded by baby dragons taking down the wizard tower, taking down the hidden Tesla, and that electro dragon is just sitting there drawing the beam from that single target while the baby dragons sneak in from the backside to take it out. I just don't really feel like the single target is a very viable option right now. But let's go ahead and take a look at a few more replays to try to make a little bit of a determination here. Okay, so in this replay, we have a base design that is extremely popular. The island base design. I mean, this base design has been altered and shifted and changed. Like, it's like week by week, I see a new version of this base design, and it's still the same, man. It's just horrible. And I understand, you know, you guys, the base building is not exactly a fun process. It's not exactly a process that I enjoy personally. And so we go to the internet and we try to find bases that we hope will work. And then this situation, we got a newer meta army here. This is a WitchSlap, and the WitchSlap is it's starting to come around, and it's just because the bases are giving it up to this army, which is a lot of witches and a lot of bat spells. Now there's two other 3 stars after this that are the similar bases, but they're crushed by either the WitchSlap or the Peekaboo bats. So I mean, let's just go ahead and get into it. You'll notice that there's 3 single target Inferno towers on this base as well, and it's going to be pretty much the same exact theme as the previous attack, with using the king here to start taking out some buildings. The Electro Dragon, perfect in this situation where the buildings are all stacked on top of it and there's nothing there to target it. The air defenses are all tucked inside the base, and then you're going to see the Wall Wrecker dropped, and so that Wall Wrecker is going to go in and open up the compartment and probably set us up for the witches. Now this is the first time I've actually watched this attack all the way through. The queen's going to follow it up with some healers and then all 11 of the witches, and so basically we're just going to flood the base with numbers like I mentioned before. And this is just where the single target just can't keep up, man. It just cannot keep up. And so the witches are going to go inside with the queen, and the Wall Wrecker is going to open up the compartment for the town hall. Looks like we have a P.E.K.K.A. and Ice Golem in that Wall Wrecker, and this is great. I mean, the P.E.K.K.A. is going to get roasted, but then you will notice that the Ice Golem that comes out just freezes everything and gives our troops a lot of time to get in there and take down that town hall. And the skeletons are going to do great, leading the way for the queen, taking down the town hall. And then you're going to notice a flood of bats, and they're going to move through from the southeastern side across the base, going into the first Inferno tower. You got witches taking down the second Inferno tower, and then those bats are going to move across the base. There's 2 freeze spells in this composition, and it's going to be used on that wizard tower to stop the bats and allow the bats to take down that third Inferno tower. And then you'll also notice that there's an Ice Golem over there just basically freezing the defenses and allowing the bats to work. It's going to shut everything down over there on that side, and then the bats are going to make it over to a mortar, and I believe they're probably going to get roasted by that wizard tower. But either way, it doesn't really matter, because you'll notice all the numbers in the core with the witches, and the witches and the queen are going to continue to distract the defenses and overpower this base by shutting down the option to take out the generating troop or the spawning troop, which is the witch. And in this case, I mean, that queen's going to follow it up. She's going to take out some buildings, and skeletons are over on the western side taking down some stuff, and it's just, it's incredible. It's incredible. I really just do not feel that the single target Inferno Tower really has a place right now with the level of gameplay or the new meta attacks that are coming out with the witches and the bats. They're just overpowering. They spawn really quick, and they just completely destroy the base. Now, if you want to try out that army right there, there it is for you. We're going to probably be posting a video on this army again very soon. If you want another army that really destroys single target Inferno Towers, click that link out over there or that video over there, and that's going to wrap us up for today, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you later and see you soon. Later, guys.